Welcome back. I'm doing these little things in 10-minute segments, trying to, dealing with the confrontations that Jesus had, okay, and some of the situations he got them in. This one right here is John 3. Last time we did John 2. John 3, 1 through 21, when he ran into Nicodemus, he dealt with the difference between religion and new birth. This is importante, my friends. Yeah. Knowledge without religion, huh? I mean, knowledge without regeneration. What is that? Huh? What is that? It's nothing. Uh-huh. But if you have the knowledge and then you have regeneration, you got something. Look at this right here, the confrontation he had. Nicodemus was a teacher sent by God. Okay, that's what Jesus confronting was. And he says, and you don't even know that you need to be born again? Well, this was elementary. This is elementary. There is a need in man from the beginning. Now, Nicodemus knew it happened to Eve, but he didn't really know the revelation yet. But he was seeking it, and he knew something. So he began right here to seek Jesus and ask him. And Jesus said that a man must be born again. Why? Because there's something in man that died. Yeah, when Eve sinned and she believed that the devil said, and she did it, she sinned, and then that sin passed down to everybody. The first thing she did is she passed it down to her husband. Yeah, and they passed it down to their children and to you and me. Yeah, that's the way that goes. And that death, meaning separation from our fellowship with God, see, that death that happens with that, Jesus wants to re reborn this thing that dies in us, so we're not antagonistic against God. So right here, there was something called moral responsibility. Is just not salvation. Okay, that's not what we're talking about. The argument here is just not the moral responsibility, but it's the spiritual birth. The moral responsibilities will come later. You got to get the spiritual birth fixed. You can't do this thing by religion. You can't do the life of Jesus by your own personal efforts. Uh-huh. You can't even do it by trying like you did, like the Jews did, to follow every dot and jittle and find out that they were short. What are you going to do then to get forgiveness? So this confrontation with Nicodemus, it revealed that the spiritual birth, it worked in a man, and this man's effort couldn't perform it. Neither could he know about it. Nicodemus said, well, how is this going to take place? And Jesus says, hey, you feel the wind blow, right? You don't know where it comes from or where it goes. The same as with the spirit of man, with the spirit of being born again. You don't know how. You can't see how this takes place, but one thing is a change happens in your heart, and all of a sudden the one-two, and you'll see it in Nicodemus's life, clear to the end when Jesus was buried, how the 1-2 changed from being just religious, just going through a repetitious form, just going through a religious dogma and trying to follow the rules. And that gets to be dead, my friends. And I'm not talking about not following rules. I'm talking about that's all there is in Jesus, and you don't have a personal relationship or a born again heart. I mean, how could if we didn't need Jesus to change us on the inside, then what good would it be? What good would he be? We do need God to come in and to change our heart and to come in and live inside of us. So, this light right here that came to Nicodemus was a truthful light. Yeah, a man has to be born again. And today, if you've not found that, if you've come in contact with that, and you feel a confrontation with that, this is the same confrontation with Jesus. Are you going to give up your religion for that very truth? You'll have to see for yourself, because this condemnation that has come into the world will leave you with that and thoughts of thoughts and feelings of guiltiness and judgment, even when you're doing your religious duties. You know that your heart ain't in it. You know that you really don't want to. And my friends, that's what you call dead. If hey, if that's all there was in Jesus, I'd go ride another horse. I mean, my friends, that's not the way it is in God. The joy of the Lord, the goodness and the mercy of God should give us the ambition, okay, to love Him and the gratitude to serve Him. It's different. It starts with the heart. If there's not a heart change, there's not anything going to happen after that. So, what was the confrontation he had? He confronted them, and he dealt with them. He dealt with a religious man. Okay. So, religious, being in the form of religion, doesn't guarantee revelation. It doesn't guarantee salvation. It doesn't guarantee anything. No. Doesn't even guarantee you're going to run into God. Right in the middle of it. And man, I wish I didn't have to say that, or I wish that wasn't sometimes true, but it is the truth. You've seen it for yourself. And what has it done to you? Doesn't it turn you off? Mm-hmm. The idea here is, let's get this from God, get it out of all the religion's hands, get it all out of man's hands first. And let's get it into the hands of God. And this is what Jesus' confrontation with Nicodemus in chapter 3 was all about. Look for yourself. Don't just trust me. Look for yourself in 3 there, how Jesus confronted him and confronts everybody, not just to win an argument, but to save a soul. Yeah, oh, you bet. You bet. Because anytime you have truth, my friend, it's going to stir up hate. It's going to stir up arguments. It's going to make you mad sometimes, because you know inside you that truth is struck. And now that truth is struck, there has to be a decision regarding the information. Huh? And so you're caught in a dilemma. And so Nicodemus was in the same place. What's he going to do? In those days, if you're thrown out of the synagogue for what they called heresy, you were without salvation. You were lost forever. And if this Jesus didn't pan out, what was he going to do for his salvation? Yeah. Well, my friends, today, the confrontation stands for sure. Are you willing? Mm-hmm. Are you willing to do what chapter 3 says? Check for yourself out and see if you don't have a need to be born again. Huh? Do you? Do you have a need to be born again? For your heart to be changed? Have it today. Nobody's looking around. Nobody knows you're even listening to this, maybe. Say to Jesus, forgive me my sins, Jesus. Come into my heart. Reveal truth to me, not empty religion. I want you, God. I want you to be my Savior. And if you do that, you've done the things necessary. Just say that to God, and He'll come into your heart. So, has this confrontation with religion done any good for you today? If so, you can put it in the comments. I always want to say that like other people. Okay, my friends, enough today with this confirmation. I'll do another 10-minute thing on another confrontation. But please, read the chapters yourself. These 10 minutes don't have time to read the whole chapter and then say something, okay? And I don't want you to just be burdened. Okay, enough from this guy. I'll see you next time with another confrontation.